Hi, this is Dr. Rami. I would like to thank Tedra Virtual Academy for such fascinating and fantastic opportunity to discuss fundamental of metaverse. One of the most crucial technology and topic that taking place these days around the world. The way we are building our organizational competency is changing. The way we are building our capabilities is changing. The way we are transforming the organization to consider a new virtual pillar that coming along with the physical and digital pillar in our environment and ecosystem. Today, we're going to talk about one of the most crucial spectrum of virtuality, the metaverse. Allow me first to introduce myself. My name is Dr. Rami, AI and Future Management Tools Mastermind in Middle East. I'm international subject matter expert that work with different organizations and associates around the world. I'm the only Arabic consultant who's part of the international technology indices, have 3 registered patents and inventions in technology. I work closely on AI and future management tools with different organizations and countries in Egypt, UAE, KSA, Bahrain, Japan, Denmark, UK, and Turkey, and some other countries. Board member and board of advisor for international associates and international forums around the world, starting from the Jordan Economical Forum to the World Economical Forum and some other international forums. Awarded as the most influential consultant in AI and future management tools from international forums and associates around the world, such as AI and the Future Management Award from AI World and from Chamber of Commerce in UK. We'll take our expected cognitive accomplishment journey through different phases and pillars. We're gonna discuss the metaverse in details, starting from the definition of metaverse, how to build a proper ecosystem that will move your organization and services and will give a new spectrum of your uh, physical, digital, and virtual pillar. To understand the spectrum of virtuality, we'll outline the metaverse components and we'll discuss each and every layer of the main 7 layers in metaverse. We'll discuss how our services will be transformed and how it can be utilized in metaverse for different and varied industries such as critical industries, telecommunication, and some others. We'll discover all related technologies such as DAO, Web3, and the changing of landscape for World Wide Web due to the existence of Web3. We'll discuss the augmented reality, virtual reality, mixed reality, and how these spectrums will change the way we build a new metaverse experience for our organizations. We'll understand how to implement, how to transform, how to build the required transitions on how to implement metaverse in general. These are one of the most important topics that will take place in our organization in order to implement metaverse. Now, we'll start by explaining the spectrum of virtuality, how our physical pillar, which is the every and each tangible component of our organization, each and every crucial tangible component around our ecosystem that will change through amplifying these tangible assets around us with a set of realities, with a set of informations, with a set of a new explained assets that will take our real world into another level, starting from amplifying the reality to augment the reality with a new set of informations, a new set of targets, a new set of results that change the overall physical environment. We'll go along now to the new set of mixed reality in which we're gonna virtualize our reality, and we'll go along with a new set of pillars, a new set of competencies in a virtual world through simulating the real world, through simulating this tangible world around us into a real and effective ecosystem that will integrate the efforts, aspects, informations, and the look and feel of each and every tangible assets in the physical pillar with a virtual world that give a full landscape and will have the same properties and features to be collided with the real world in order to build our optimal extended reality, which we call it the War 2.0. Through such spectrum, we'll be able to enhance and optimize our daily routine jobs and activities. We'll be able to build a new positive citizenship that will identify our activities in the real world and will help us to take our services into the next level, supported by a virtual and augmented reality and informations that will take the service into a better definition and into redefining the way we're gonna achieve these services. Now, let's talk about types of virtuality. We're gonna discuss the different pillars and aspects of such virtuality. We're gonna start with virtual reality, and we're gonna think about what is virtual reality, why we are using such goggles or such set or headset to simulate an experience that is identical with its details to what we have in our physical world through a pose tracking and 3D near eye displays to give the user an immersive feel of a virtual world. The application of such technology will not stop by the entertainment and technology and education. It will take this technology will take the education and capacity building, competency analysis, all the activities that require development, the human being competencies into another level. We can take through VR the entertainment industry into another level, the event management into another level, to deliver certain services for our clients through virtual shops into another levels, without a need to move from one place to another, without having a traffic jam in our physical life. That's exactly what we need to train people in health and safety competencies without having the risk of deliver such a training on scaffolding or working at heights. This is exactly how the virtual reality gonna upskill, align, and optimize our services in our organizations. We're gonna use augmented reality as well, a new different type of virtuality, which is a real time interaction experience through displaying a computer generated content over our real world, in which we can define it as the effect of virtual pillar on our physical pillar to match and align with the real time impact of our activities. Then we're gonna talk about the third most important and crucial type of virtuality. We call it the mixed reality. This term used to describe the merging of real world environment and a computer generated environment into a one environment with a proper measurement on the performance activities and the measurement required to monitor these activities. We consider what happened in the mixed reality as a tactical activities come from different simple and complex operations, aligned and supported by some unique operation in the physical world, and all come along to support our tactical and strategic activities. So we need to understand that in order to build such type of virtuality, we need to show the effect of these activities from strategic pillar, tactical pillar, and operational pillar. The spectrum of virtuality changed the way human beings are thinking about each and every activities in our organization, combining a new set of pillars together, colliding these pillars together. And this is exactly what's going on with the human being for the past few years. We need to know that for the past 1,800 years, the human being used to deal with the physical pillar of our daily and routine activities. And now we change the way we think about a human living, about the quality of life, by adding a new pillar that come along to achieve the sustainable development goals for a human being. This pillar is the virtual pillar. If we be able to collide this pillar with the other two main pillar, which is the digital world and our digital pillar and physical pillar, will be able to build the world 2.0. In order to build such a world, and in order to build the industry 4.0 revolution in a different way than the other previous three revolutions, we need to understand that we will use a new set of future management tools. These tools will change the way we collide these three pillars together. We're gonna name some of these tools. And these tools, for your information, will form the human being life for the coming 25 years. Let me tell you some of these tools: robotics, blockchain, Internet of Things, autonomous objects, 3D printing, artificial intelligence, advanced materials and advanced analytics and smart big data. And then we're gonna talk about the metaverse. One of these eight tools, Metaverse. So, what is Metaverse? We discussed only the spectrum of virtuality. If we want to discuss Metaverse, we can identify it as an online virtual world which incorporated the augmented reality, virtual reality, and mixed reality, along with other means of communication altogether to build a certain experience or to deliver certain products and services. Wow, that's amazing. We are changing the way we are thinking and our mindset in managing our organizations and even our human being activities. So, in order to build these activities in a proper and an effective way, we need to set a proper set of objectives or cluster of objectives for this technology in order to measure it and in order to manage it. And one of these most important objectives are driving innovation and growth. When we want to implement any future management tools, we need to make sure that this tool will provide a boost organic growth for our organization. On the same hand, we want to make sure that this particular tool, such as Metaverse, will build a competitive advantage and will strengthen the core differentiators of our business activities. People are thinking about operation excellence, but with the existence of virtual pillar, we are thinking now about the next generation of operational excellence in order to improve the operations, the cost, and the performance of our organization. We need to take the smart services into another level, starting from solutions, logistics, factories, production, customer service. All these connected environment need to have a new driver, a new identifications, a new attributes, a compound attributes that will identify how we deal with the smart services. We need to have a connection between RPA or robotics or hyper intelligence and metaverse in a way, and we can achieve this through measuring the smart automation and the real time impact of such automation in the metaverse and virtual environment. On top of all, we redefine the customer experience and will redefine the measurement of customer happiness in our virtual world. If we have these clear objectives on the strategic level, we'll be able to build our critical success factor for our metaverse journey, and our cognitive accomplishment need to be achieved through this metaverse tool. Now, after setting these objectives, and after being as a UAE one of the early adapters for such technology, we need to diversify and identify the blocks needed to build such technology, simplify the definition of metaverse, simplify the way we build these blocks, and how we can reach the leading practice to build this knowledge step by step, block by block, from strategic perspective, tactical perspective, and operational perspective. If we want to identify metaverse and define metaverse, we can say that it's bringing together people, process, and data and things, either it's real or virtual, to make a networked connection more relevant and valuable than ever before, turning information into actions that creates new capabilities, as we said, new measurement, a richer experience, and unprecedented economic opportunities for businesses, individuals, and even countries. Even the telecommunication industries start thinking about metaverse as a virtual ecosystem, not only an environment that will take the customer happiness and will take the customer experience into a new level through developing these financial inclusivity tool that will add a new pillar to the telecommunication industry. What is the metaverse building blocks to achieve all these things? I believe we need to have a proper experience that will be based in this virtual life through either gaming or the social media 2.0, or through building an event and conference room, shopping, art, museum, any place that will build a proper experience for your organization. We need another crucial block, which is the user interface. And for sure, we can achieve these things through the 3D engines and avatars, through virtual reality, augmented reality, haptic suits, and NFT and cryptocurrency. We need some other enabling technology that will enable the experience of virtual reality, and augment the experience of augmented reality, will collide the mixed reality with our life through blockchain, low coded platforms, and through AI agents. For sure, if we want to collide these three main pillars in the world, the physical, digital, and virtual pillar, we need to augment and integrate these future management tools all together to work together to build a full experience and an effective experience on the same hand to our users. So we require a proper infrastructure, which will come to the 5G and edge computing. If we'll be able to build all these blocks all together and combine it all together, we'll be able to find a new set of opportunities, including but not limited to a human interface experience that require a new set of hardware and software that can be available to our client through our shops. And this is one of the most important crucial facts for telecommunication industry. So if the telecommunication industry will be able to build this immersive experience, they will be able to deliver and provide a new set of hardware and software for their clients. Will always be keen to have the highest level of connectivity, cloud computing service, and we'll start thinking about smart big data and the direct data platforms as one of the essentials to be integrated with our ecosystem, with our services, and with our products. Cybersecurity will become one of the essential pillars to provide the privacy trust required for our users. So we think maybe sometimes about metaverse as a platform that will help our stakeholders to derive a new values through arranging a certain experience in the metaverse. And this is one of the most crucial services that telecommunication will start thinking about it. As you can see, the ecosystem is changing drastically, and the new stakeholders map is re-identified. The partnering methodologies are there again. So we need to have a proper metaverse environment that will help us to build such opportunities and to make these opportunities available for our stakeholders. But before we think about these elements, we need to think about the components of metaverse. What we have in this metaverse, what kind of components will require to build this metaverse. For sure, we'll start with the digital currency, or we call it the CBDC, okay, currencies or cryptocurrencies. On the same hand, we need a marketplace, a digital marketplace that will equip this metaverse with a new set, a new experience of tools that will enhance your colliding between physical and digital world. We'll use NFT to keep the rights of assets. We'll have a proper infrastructure that will serve this virtual reality and metaverse immersive experience. We need device independence and decentralization. We'll use gaming to build a new user experience. For sure, we'll not forget that we need to have a reflection of our physical pillars as a digital assets in our virtual pillar. We need workplaces, online shops, concerts, social platform or social media 2.0. We need a human 2.0, which is a digital humans, the avatars that will try this experience in the virtual pillar to be reflected on our digital pillar and physical pillar. We'll use AI, meta learning, NLP to be able to build this experience in a proper and a professional manner. All these components and elements will drive our industry to a set of opportunities already mentioned a while ago. But the main challenge is how we can measure all these things, all these elements. We will require a new scaling technique, which we call it an which we call it a gross metaverse product. These indicators will show to us a compound attribute to measure the KPIs, key performance indicators, the critical success factors, and the business process indicators for our physical pillar, digital pillar, and virtual pillar. To build this compound attribute in a proper way, we need to identify the four main pillars that come along together to redefine these compound attributes, KPI, critical success factor, and BBI together. So we'll start by the technologies. What kind of assets I need to have in order to have a successful collide between the physical, digital, and virtual? We'll use it, for example, for sake of of argument, we're gonna talk about the augmented reality headset, Internet of Things, 5G, the wearables, sensors, AI, cloud, virtual headset, virtual reality headset. All these technologies must come into a measurement technique, or we need to avail a set of KPIs that will measure the availability and utilization of such layer. Then we'll go to the next layer, the capabilities. How will the metaverse will change the capability measurement of our environment, starting from the governance, decentralization, input and output, persistence, ownership, environment, digital assets. And we all know that after we build the organizational capabilities and the individual capabilities of any organization or industry who intended to transform into the metaverse, we need always to remeasure the governance effectiveness, and we need to assess our ecosystem governance to make sure that we are implementing things in a proper and a right manner. Then we need to measure the business process indicators of our components. These components that reflect the physical pillar. Such components will be the avatars, brands, creators, democracy, experience. All these things need to be reflected as a main pillar and element of metaverse. If we not reflect the components in a proper way, will not be able to manage a major whatever happening in the metaverse. We all know that this main layer or pillar will be considered as a tactical operation for the metaverse. Then, since we have the simple operation we need, we have the tactical operation we need, we have the strategic and unique operation we need, we'll start thinking about the complex use cases that will take our experience into another level, starting from building a public square for conferences and activities, from augmenting the workplace in the physical pillar with information available from our metaverse, from the MSPO, the venues, the immersive experiences, and from marketplaces as a use cases that will help us to build the components and in a proper way, major these components with a compound attributes called the GMP. If we are able to understand these elements of metaverse, we will be required to set our priorities in transforming the whole ecosystem in our physical world and in our digital world into this virtual world with a proper prioritization. And it's a very dangerous phase for any industry, any organization, or even any person who trying to move their daily activities from physical pillar to the virtual pillar. Therefore, we're gonna suggest a CWS model, can, would, should model, which is a set of actions that needs to be taken for organization in order to overcome a zone called the suspension zone. So any organization will start identifying the resources and will start identifying the existing infrastructure and financing, the procedure agility of its activities, and even the existing capabilities of its organization. After we identify all these things, we'll be able to transform or start shifting our activities from the physical pillar and digital pillar using transformation, using AI and the future management tools into to what we should have and what we should prepare in terms of resources. Usually, this stage can be taken through partners and complementary partners who are able to support the organization and avail certain resources for them to build their capabilities. After a while, we'll be ready to fully transform into the metaverse experience through our internal innovation labs. And we usually advise the organization to work on a service change agent perspective and not count on a company that will manage their service or will manage the transformation or shifting, sorry, from should to want. Now, want is a place where the organization have all the capabilities and competencies ready to transform, and everything is set to its places and they are ready to build the metaverse environment. And now, to build this metaverse environment, we need to assess and provide the latest corrective action required for our organization or industry or even a country. And we need to check what is the common challenges for all the organizations, industries, and countries around the world when they deal with metaverse. Is there a common challenge for all industries? How we can overcome these challenges? Is there a way? That's a very important question that we will answer in the next slides. But I want to give one advice for industry leaders, policymakers, and even people who attend this course. Be careful to move your organization or ecosystem from can zone to the want zone, because you will be stuck in a place called the suspension zone, in which you will lose the control of resources and you will lose the proper measurement and attributes that will reflect the reality of your business activities, and will lose a new set of competencies inherited from your organizational activities, and your people competencies will be affected and their performance will be affected all in all. So moving into the metaverse is not a piece of cake. We need to set the priority in a proper way. We need to follow the CWS model and we need to understand the layers and elements very carefully in order to be able to transform. So, I want to talk about these challenges facing metaverse initiators, what they should do to overcome these challenges. But before talking about the solutions, let's identify these challenges. We'll start by the identity management challenge. It's difficult to confirm ID in our current Web3 2.0 applications. When we talk about decentralized World Wide Web, which is Web 3.0, how are we going to deal with the ID management? With Metaverse, the problem is scaled up as we expand the use of the product and services. The last thing you want is to create a wild west in a metaverse. Our main second challenges, the SSP, security, safety, and the privacy of the metaverse. As devices people get more connected and collect more data and information, resulting and accelerating the metaverse expansion model and the speed close to the speed of the real universe. The privacy and safety and security concerns will increase too. How companies decide to balance customer SSP with the wealth of metaverse data, with the consecutive efforts to build a wisdom intelligence in the metaverse. Will be critical for the future of metaverse and more important to the client happiness, the client experience, and even the customers to trust the metaverse and any future Xverse that will be exist or Xverse version. The fifth challenge, the emotional and mental impacts. I've been talking about the impact for the past 6 years, maybe. And we need to conclude that the same issues of non-stop social media usage, the online gaming, will transform to metaverse. All these things will transform into the metaverse. So we need to protect everyone using metaverse, including the intellectual property of the metaverse, including the assets of the metaverse. We need to protect all these things. So laws, regulation, and protection will be one of the main challenges that will face us. With the new business found, with the new NFTs, with all these technology, I believe we will be able to provide a new solution for the protections. Oh, I forgot to talk about the finance in the metaverse. We all know using cryptocurrency is a challenge by itself. Using it as a way of payment in metaverse will add more complications to what we still unregulated payment system. One of the options to overcome such a challenge to use the CBDC, which is central bank digital currency. And I believe this is a very important solution for or alternative for financing in metaverse. Let's talk about the standardization of metaverse. Standardization in metaverse is a very important and toughest part in the early life cycle of any new technology, as everyone to be want to be the standard. Everyone to want to dominate the market, want the standard to cover the hardware, software, process, protocol, fundamentals of design and implementation of metaverse. How we can standardize such opportunities? We need to use some leading practices that will assess our ecosystem, will take our ecosystem with a step by step and critical and baby surely steps to move into and colliding our physical, digital, and virtual pillars. Now, how we can build our metaverse. In my book, I discussed the triple six theory that will take the metaverse into a 18 months journey with minimizing the risks and minimizing the opportunity of falling apart or missing any part into 18 months journey and three phases. The first phase will start assessing the service and aligning the ecosystem through using a tool called AMA, through building a to F team, which is a team that are able to transform the organization with an, a big harmony and a vast integration mechanism for our organization. Then we'll start building a set of initiatives on the operational level for the fit for purpose operating model and to achieve an acceleration implementation journey for our organization. Then we'll start the fine tuning of these activities and measuring the KPIs in a proper way with the fine tuning the rest of KPIs, with measuring the business process indicators and fine tuning the rest of it, with implementing and measuring the critical success factors and add on top of it. Through triple six theory, we'll be able to transform our strategy, our operations, and our technology in a way that will fit into our ecosystem without harming the existing activities of our organization or industry. So, what's going to be changing our strategy? We need to have a new adequate business model. Either it's a service model, a value model, performance model, cost model, operating model. We need to realize that by ourselves. We need to build a clear value proposition for our ecosystem and our service in Metaverse. We talked about the finance and funding challenge, and we talked about the CBDC initiative to sort out such a matter. Now, after we build and develop the strategic level, we start thinking about the tactical and operational level. So we need to have a fit to purpose operating model. We need to build and upskill the competencies and agile culture to build the required transformation culture. And to build such transformation culture, I advise you guys to acquire a very important organizational competency called IDLE, International Artificial Intelligence and Future Management Tools Driving License, which will help your organization to build a positive citizenship that will foster the transformation culture in your organization and will help your organization to understand the transition into this metaverse or a new spectrum of your organization. For sure, such methodology will always make sure that we mitigate the risk during the transition phase of our physical and digital palette. Do we need to change our internal policies, improve our regulations, and manage our regulation in the metaverse the same way we manage it in the physical pillar and digital pillar? This is another question that we need to revise and we need to study. Do we need a supportive technologies? And this is another question that will come during the three sixes theory or triple six theory. Do we have the right assets? Do we have the edge computing required? Do we have any missing element, such as direct data platform? Do we have this? Are our platforms considered as scalable platforms? This is part of the assessment that will be taking place in the first 6 months during the transition phase. Now, to make the word easy to you, I thought about discussing the leading practice of moving an organization and colliding the organization activities in the physical pillar, digital pillar, and virtual pillar through using extreme machine learning tool that will assess your organization activities from the strategic pillar, the finance and infrastructure, the procedure agility, and how we can fine tune these agilities. The enablers, your business enablers, how your business enablers can affect the transition of your organization into metaverse. All these things will go into an extreme machine learning mind that use AI as a main stepstone technology to do the required we call it the SIP, which is leading practice of a certain industry, and we it's gonna be benchmark it with this, certain indices and associate reports, and then we will conclude a ready strategy, or the AIMA will conclude a ready strategy with a set of corrective action to reach a mature enablers to transform into a proper metaverse, and will prioritize our activities with the required supported tools such as Web 3.0, AR, VR, AI, and even smart big data to build an effective ecosystem that will transform smoothly our activities in the physical and digital pillar. When we colliding all these things together, when we sum up all these activities, when we have this proper corrective action in place, we'll be able to develop, we'll be able to build the required transition and achieve the required transition for our organization. We will have a healthy transformation culture. Many organizations thought that in order to transform an organization in metaverse, we only need a proper strategy, or we need a proper tactical activities, or we need a proper fit to purpose operating model. And they forgot the integration between tools, the corrective actions they need to take in their daily routine activities and daily routine jobs. And in order to make such a decision, it's not easy. You need to have and you need to count on technology to build the technology. Okay? We call it T to T connection as a human to human connection. So this shift will require a very sophisticated kind of uh, AI mindset thinking that will find the workflows and long workflows and correlations between the data you have in order to achieve the required activities. We'll not forget that metaverse holding different opportunities for us. We'll not forget that moving our organization through providing a clear maturity assessment for such a shift and the transformation, building a proper transformation culture, and by having all the required on a strategic, tactical, and operational level, and have a set of a clear definition of each and every future management tool's role in metaverse will help us to achieve a healthy transformation and transition for our activities. All in all, we need to understand that moving from strategy to implementation is not easy as well in metaverse. So we start by scorecarding the strategy that we have and we get from Ayman, which will lead us to build a strategic map. This strategic map will show us all the activities that will take a place and will affect our objectives. If you remember, we discussed these objectives. We talk about driving the innovation and the growth. We discussed the competitive advantage. We discussed redefining customer experience. We talked about the smart automation, and we talked about enhancement and enrichment of digital experience. All these activities should be in a place and aligned with a proper value chain that will lead us to build a proper business model to differentiate our positioning for these activities. Either it is an non-core competency, or it's a core competitive competency, or it's a core differentiating competencies in our value chain model. This will build our value map and will help us to provide the required business management. And here, when we have such a map, we can say that we are able to monitor and control whatever activities we have in our operating model or in our metaverse. But having such operating model will have three kind of drivers to our organization that needs to be aligned and integrated with our physical and digital activities, which is the value driver and performance driver and cost drivers. Each of these drivers need to be controlled and monitored between physical pillar and metaverse in different aspects and different ways. For example, if you want to manage the value drivers, you need to innovate, you need to enhance the efficiency, and you need to optimize the service integration between the three main pillars: physical, digital, virtual, indeed. If you want to work the performance driver between three pillars, you need to align the service between these three pillars. You need to work on the efficiency and effectiveness of the performance. You need to optimize the workflow and find a proper workflow between these three pillars will lead us to achieve the critical success factors. Then we need to think about the cost driver of having metaverse in our organization. And we can use such service by transformation, effectiveness, and tenderization. I know it's a new term if we think about cost driver. Tenderization means clustering the cost units between digital, virtual, and physical world to improve our process and to be part of the key performance indicator. All these things will come along to collide service, workflows, and processes together and under a one proper value realization model that will consider business process indicators input, critical success factors output, and KPIs output. Summing up all these together, all these output together, will help us to understand the customer's need in the metaverse, will help us to improve the value identification in our organization. All these things needs to be identified, needs to be showing up to us to give us the look and feel required as information for our organization. All these things need to be showing up in our own dashboard. This dashboard usually come along with a smart big data capabilities. And you know the difference, guys, between big data and smart big data. On the same hand, we need to have another level of dashboarding. We call it the direct data platform, where we have AI colliding with the virtual pillars and virtual activities come from the virtual or spectrum of virtualities for in the virtual world. Colliding these together will sum up an effective dashboard that will lead our corrective actions and activities in our organization. Now, if we want to lead these activities and if we want to understand such analysis or analytics or even science of activities that have taking place in virtual and physical pillar, what we should do, we need to have a proper team. We call this team the A to F team. This team is the value creator team, or we call it the value creation cockpit. The value creation cockpit is a place where you drive the colliding between the physical, digital, and virtual world. And we can summarize the A to F team as A, activators, B, browsers, C, creators, E, executors, D, developers, and F, facilitators. These roles in the transformation team will always make sure that whatever KPIs or whatever information system architecture we have and performance measurement between the physical world and digital world and virtual world are there, they will take the required corrective action to provide a sustainable service, a better workflow, enhanced process, and will make sure always that the level of agility will keep the flow of transformation culture in the organization DNA work all together to achieve whatever we have from a strategy. Then this team will make sure to have a value identification model that will align whatever we have as an organization with whatever required to be part of our new operating model. This phase will make sure that we sustain our operating model and we sustain our metaverse development during the cycle of strategy to implementation life cycle. As we said, if we want to implement metaverse, we need to understand the effect of each and every pillar in physical world, digital world, into our virtual world. To sum it up, we need to remember the importance of this revolving world. We need to be part of the changes. We need to identify the meaning of metaverse. And we identify metaverse as bringing people, process, and data, and all things in reality and virtual to make network connection between them uh, is relevant and valuable to us. We talked about the main layers and the main components of metaverse. And we need to consider these layers and components to measure the gross metaverse product as a compound attributes for such indicator. We talked about the main challenges and that will face us, will face all the industries, will face all the entrepreneurs who try to implement metaverse in their organization, starting from the identity management to SSP, security, safety, and privacy, to the finance and metaverse, and then we talked about the laws and regulations and protections, and then we talk about the emotional and mental impacts of living in metaverse, and then to the standardization of metaverse. We believe these challenges is changing the whole world, guys. and it will lead always to develop our way of dealing with our resources and roles, to have an effective business layer, information layer, and technology layer that work along together to build our non-core competencies and core differentiating competencies and our core competitive competencies. We discussed we discussed how we can move or transform our organization through the triple six to change the strategy, operation, and technology of our organizations, activities, even industries, even to move whatever we have in our countries into the metaverse and collide our physical, digital, virtual. Don't forget that we need to have a clear maturity assessment with a T to T relation in order to measure the effect of strategy, the effect of procedure agility, and the effect of finance and infrastructure and business enablers into such colliding process. Be careful and don't go to the suspension zone when you prioritize your activity to move in CWS model. At the end, we need to build an effective value map with a proper value realization model that will sum up the business process indicators, the critical success factors, and KPIs. All these things will work all together to have a clear reporting, a clear scorecarding, a clear data objects, a clear cockpit identifications or value creations identifications, a clear system measurement, and a dashboard that will show the level of integration between physical, digital, and virtual pillars. At the end, I would like to thank Tedra Virtual Academy, for such amazing opportunity and fascinating opportunity to talk about metaverse fundamentals and the spectrum of virtuality and how we gonna change the world and move the world from having a physical pillar only into a main three pillar that will be considered as the main driver of industry 4.0. I'll be more than happy and pleased and delighted to receive any further question about metaverse fundamentals and to support the journey of building your mindsets and building this uh, competency as one of the main organizational competencies required in all the industries to build a positive citizenship that will develop our beloved UAE and will develop our industry and organization. Thanks a lot for your time and Godspeed. Thank you.